If you got big dreams and bad genes, you are in the right place. These shirts and Bromley merch are available at barbellapparel.com, link below. So you guys might have heard about this $100,000 squat challenge, and a bunch of people are jumping into it. I mean, you've got Igor Klimenov, known for his ridiculous Olympic weightlifting antics, quadzilla cyclist Robert Forsterman, and then most recently jumping on the train is the colossal Canuck strongman champion phenom Mitch Hooper. In the face of those reputable names jumping onto the challenge and the assertion that the challenge had actually already been completed by the promoter Sheikh Nasser bin Hamad Al Khalifa. Relation? It looks like there's a lot of promotion going towards Spartan Fitness Bahrain. Now, the last time that anybody shelled out 6 figures for a lift is when Rogue was promoting the deadlift record, when they were trying to get people to take down Eddie Hall's 500 kilogram deadlift record at one of their shows. And that was one of the great moments in the sport where there was just a fever pitch around a particular lift when somebody had done the impossible and everybody in the sport rallied to see if we could push that ceiling just a bit farther. However, this is not that. I'm going to break down what the challenge is, give my case as to why it shouldn't be taken seriously, and also explain why Mitch, God love him, 100% is not going to finish this thing. So the challenge itself is being promoted by Spartan Fitness Bahrain. And as can be seen from this very intense graphic that does not look anything like a stock footage image, we have the Sheikh himself, Al Khalifa, in the middle of his domination of the impossible squat challenge. Now, the way it works is just an ascending pyramid, but it's paired with ridiculous reps leading to ridiculous weights with essentially no rest. It goes in increments of 20 kilos. So this is the addition of a blue plate in kilograms. It's 44 pounds. It goes 60, 100, 140, 180, 220, and then repeats 220 and goes right back down the pyramid. Now, to those Westerners, the infidels that still use the imperial systems, about 135, 220, 308, 396, and 484. And the repetitions start at 30, then go 25, 20, 15, 10, and then again repeats on the way back down. And that is a whopping 200 repetitions done with 30 to 20 seconds in between each set. Why does it go from 30 seconds rest to 20? Don't know, but I'm sure it was a super precise, very deliberate and necessary move made by the geniuses that put this thing together. Now, this is aptly called the impossible workout because for all intents and purposes, it is impossible. At first glance, to many of you, it's just going to look like a CrossFit workout, like a 200 rep squat ladder with short rest periods. It's not anything that's really unheard of. I mean, there's people that do that competitively and are very good at it. You might be saying, hey, Froning can come out of retirement, crush this in his sleep. Hell, Annie Thor's daughter might just do it for fun, 9 months pregnant. But it's the rapid ascension of weight that really makes this thing nonsense. You have to look at the middle of this thing where you do 220 kilograms, 484 pounds. That's about 5 plates for the bros for a set of 10. And then you take 30 seconds rest and repeat it for a set of 10. Now, to do this fresh, you probably need upwards of a 700-pound squat, but you're doing this immediately after clocking 90 reps with lighter weights. And then you have to have the capacity and drive to be able to complete another 90 reps on the way down, this time with less rest than when you started. This is like some rich oil magnate who got into lifting and decided to give 1,000,000 rupees to anybody who could deadlift 1,000 pounds for 20 reps. We know that people have deadlifted 1,000 pounds, and we know that people do 20 reppers. So if you're new here, you might think that it's a possible task, but it's not. Now, the impossibility of it is evident by Mitch Hooper, who in promoting his bid to complete this challenge, actually expressed doubt as to whether or not he would be able to do it.
I can't guarantee that I'll finish it, but I can 100% guarantee I'll get closer than anyone you've had to date.
Now, people are going to invariably argue, and invariably the people that argue are going to people that don't know what a 220 kilogram squat for 10 feels like, or what doing 100 plus consecutive reps feel like. It's just like the guys who have never taken a basic karate class or been punched in the face are always eager to give their expert opinions on the outcome of a UFC fight, and they always dramatically overestimate their own ability to fight. As the saying goes, fatigue makes cowards of us all, and that type of deep, soul-crushing fatigue that sets in as the stress continues to climb indefinitely with no release and no ability to recover, it's something that you can't account for if you haven't actually felt it yourself. It's not just your legs burning or a little bit of queasiness. It's that paired with a 200 beat per minute heart rate and the literal sensation that you're suffocating. It's you fighting against your body as it tries to shut down all other processes so that it can catch up from the onslaught that it experienced immediately before. Underestimating the role of fatigue here is like looking at waterboarding and saying, that doesn't look that bad. You ever find yourself confused by the complexity of programming? I know I struggled like crazy in my early strongman career. There was just too much advice, and every decision I made felt like a guess. As soon as I hit a snag in any program, I would have no idea what to do, so I would inevitably bail. It took me years of training and coaching to figure out how to predictably increase muscle and strength, both in myself and others. And those lessons took me to my own showings in World's Strongest Man, America's Strongest Man, and the Arnold in the 231-pound weight class. This is why we made BaseStrengthAI, to give clear, direct, and personalized instruction right in the middle of your workout in real time. BaseStrengthAI features 3 programs: Block, 70s Powerlifter, and Bull Mastiff, each one inspired by the work ethic and programming of the biggest and strongest bodybuilders, powerlifters, and strongmen throughout history. These templates originated in my book Base Strength, and they can be ran as is, but with BaseStrengthAI, weight and volume are prescribed to you on your specific feedback, and that's personalization that even an online coach can't replicate. This gives you the absolute certainty that every rep is meaningful, that every block of training is getting you closer to your goals. It's my programming, but it's your program. Get the heart of old school training with the intelligence of a coach right in your back pocket. Head now to basestrength.com. Now, the most conditioned athletes on the planet train for and adapt to this level of fatigue. They can handle it in stride because that's a common modality in their training that they've been doing for a very long period of time. But this is the problem. Training for world-class conditioning does not allow for world-class strength, and that's evident by the numbers put up by the best CrossFitters in the world. Are they strong? Yes. Are they nearly as strong as they would be if they weren't doing insane conditioning circuits on a daily basis? 100% no. And likewise, training for world-class strength does not allow for that world-class level of conditioning. You can get very conditioned and very strong, but at the elite level, the two qualities interfere. To complete this challenge, you would need somebody who is on the order of like an 850 squat, which Mitch is, but you would need that person to also have, at the minimum, the capacity level of a games level athlete. And the fact is that combination just doesn't exist. Now the dissenters are going to say, but Mitch ran marathons. He was an endurance athlete. He's well-rounded. Those are apples and tamales. Lance Armstrong had one of the most insane VO2 maxes of any human being on planet Earth. He probably had the most raw conditioning of any person on planet Earth. But if you put Lance Armstrong in a marathon, he's not going to do well, especially compared to the best marathon runners. And if you take the guy that has the sub 2-hour marathon time, put him in the Tour de France, he's going to fall apart in the first hour. Being really, really, really good at basic cardiovascular activities has fuck all to do with the specific adaptations needed to get under a bunch of weight and squat continuously for 20 plus minutes. Now I have to get to the real hoot here. You see, Sheikh Nasser bin Hamad Al Khalifa claims to have actually completed this thing, and there's video evidence on YouTube to silence all of the potential naysayers. For some reason, the comments are turned off. You might want to let him know. He's probably missing out on all of the support and admiration from the people on the internet, eager to give him kudos for completing such an impossible task. Hell, even Mitch says with a straight face that the Sheikh completed it.
This is a challenge put out by His Highness Sheikh Nasser bin Hamad Al Khalifa, and he has completed this challenge. But since it was put out, nobody has done it. In fact, nobody has even got halfway.
And why would you deny it? I mean, this is exactly how I grab and load 20-kilogram plates. And I also maintain the exact same bar speed on every rep of a 200-pound set. And I also take long, slow, deep breaths 100 reps into a set. But unlike the Sheik, all of my exposure to high rep squat work paired with my poor genetics has left my legs thick and blocky. If I was blessed with the pure royal Bahrainian genetics that the Sheik has, I too might be able to demonstrate world-class strength while maintaining thighs that have a more desirable, sleek, and toned look. Now, I don't know what the Sheik's role is with Spartan Fitness Bahrain, if he's an owner, but he must have some financial investment. They must rely on him for something if he was able to convince literally everybody involved that the entire promotional tour is to center around the idea that he actually did in fact complete this challenge. And because I'm calling out somebody who isn't a white American, I fully expect the usual suspects to come in claiming racism. People thought racism was the reason I questioned Daniel Zamani's 800-pound raw bench to take over Julius Maddox, even though 800 pounds is more than he had ever benched equipped. And oh, by the way, there's red fucking spray paint on the combo rack. It happened when I questioned the incredible stone weights that were being snatched and cleaned with one hand in a small Pakistani village by small individuals who didn't look like they lifted. And no matter how fucking ridiculous the claim that this guy actually finished the challenge is, it's going to happen here. Because of course, the culture never calls out white Americans for using bullshit weights. No matter what culture you live in, some people care about standards and finding out what is objectively true, and others like to wrap themselves in a blanket of wishful thinking and lived experiences. One of those groups is dangerous and regressive, and I'll let you guess which one it is. And I'd also like to say that when people in the West get really nauseous and anxious over the corruption that exists among the mega rich, take a second to have a little bit of thankfulness that there are in fact some checks and balances, because being this wealthy in other parts of the world, it's like an infinity gauntlet. It literally allows you to manufacture your own reality. You don't have people telling this guy that he's full of shit to his face, because over there he is in such a tightly sealed bubble. He is the teat that everyone around him has to drink from, where every single person will go along with the most blatant of lies. Some of you might laugh this off, that it's just benign, it's just bullshitting for a promotional tour. But when I see someone who's royalty having enough money to convince everybody to go along with such egregious bullshit, it makes me wonder how far this goes when it's over something where there's actual stakes. Now, I don't know financially what's at stake for Mitch here. He's not going to complete it. So if that's what's required to get the $100,000, maybe they're paying him something else just to show up. I have no idea. I'm not going to fault him directly for not stirring shit here. It's not in his best interest, and providing for his family is probably a mite more important than going out of his way to say, you didn't lift what you said you did. So I know I've talked my share of shit about Mitch Hooper. For the record, I do not dislike Mitch Hooper. I actually have respect that he's willing to get outside of his comfort zone, try hard things, and I gotta give him credit. He had a little bit of humility in saying, I'm not really sure I can finish this thing. So that willingness to try new things, especially things that are this fucking sucky, I'm gonna give it up to the man. But I also do look forward to seeing what his response is when he inevitably gets questioned about the authenticity of the Sheik's performance. It's going to be a little juggling that has to go on to preserve that paycheck, but also maintain integrity with the fan base. We'll see what happens. Anyways, that's all I got for today, guys. Let me know what you think about the challenge. Do you think it's doable? Do you think somebody's actually theoretically capable of pulling it off, or do you think it's all a bunch of bullshit? And what do you think of the Sheik? Inspiring figure who is displaying world-class feats while disseminating the good word of fitness across his kingdom? Let me know in the comments. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Till next time, this is Bromley. I'll see you.